Next, we have the WHS box. WHS stands for Workplace Health and Safety. And this is really concerned with how you make your lesson safe. How do you make your classroom safe? How do you manage any sort of risks or dangers that are involved? Because you are the leader in the classroom, it's your responsibility to keep everybody safe. Now, for some of us, this can be a strange concept to think about safety, but workplace health and safety is an important part of being a teacher in a classroom with a set of students. So we have a special place on your lesson plan for you to record notes about WHS. All right, now that you have finished planning all of the activities for your lesson, now is a good time to work on this box. Now the question asked is what measures need to be taken when planning for classroom safety in this lesson. And notice that it says specifically what WHS measures need to be taken in this specific classroom, for these specific activities, or for these specific learners. So you're not just asked to come up with some random general WHS measures, but really some things that are specific to this classroom, these specific activities, and your specific set of learners. And so that's why it's best to do this WHS planning at the end of your lesson planning process, after you've come up with all of your activities and you know what kinds of activities you're doing in your lesson. Because I might need to think about safety differently for an activity like tic-tac-toe than for an activity like toss the ball, where my students are standing up and we're tossing things around the room. Or for a role play where my students aren't tossing things, but they are moving about the room. And so I need to make sure that they're safe as they move around. And so each of these activities might cause you to think about safety in a slightly different way. And so after you have an idea of what kinds of activities you're doing, now's a good time to write in your notes for WHS. So for the activities in this lesson, I do have students moving around. I'm going to have them tossing balls, trying to potentially run and catch balls. So I'm going to think about how to create a safe space for them to move around. So I'm just going to give myself a note here as a set of instructions of what I can do to make sure that my students are safe during this lesson. So move tables to create a safe mingling space. So there's a simple set of instructions for something such as a role play where my students are going to be moving around. Another common WHS factor would be something related to the environment or the temperature. So I could give myself a second set of instructions. Let's say I'm teaching this lesson somewhere where the weather is very hot. I could say, make sure the air conditioning is on and that the lights are on, so everybody can see where they're going and that they are comfortable, they won't get overheated. So here are two simple WHS measures, two simple little notes as a set of instructions for what I should do as a teacher to make this particular lesson, this particular set of activities safe. Now you might also notice a set of checkboxes here. These are simply things that you can mark when you have completed them. So a completed lesson plan should have those marked with X's or check marks or circles. In this example, it's asking if you've checked in with your supervisor. So when you're completing your practice teachings, it's obviously always a good idea to make sure you've checked in with whoever is supervising your lessons, making sure that you know what you're supposed to be doing and that you're meeting their expectations. And also a quick little reminder to write your outline on the whiteboard to let your students know what to expect for the lesson. These are two sets of instructions, things that you should complete before you begin your lesson that are very common for most practice teaching contexts. So that's why they're included here on this lesson plan. Really, this box is about two things. It's about workplace health and safety, or WHS, but it's also about any other special actions that you need to take before you teach this lesson. And so use this box as a reminder to go back and double check the rest of your lesson plan to make sure that you haven't forgotten anything. Make sure that you've completed all the boxes, make sure that you've created all of your resources, and make sure there's nothing left for you to do before this lesson begins. And if you need a little reminder, then go ahead, add a little note to this box reminding you of what you need to do before you start teaching this lesson. That's what this box is here for, but the main thing that we're going to be doing is making sure that you have added 1 or 2 notes here specifically addressing the WHS factors for this specific lesson.